Today's lesson is about sleeping habits and sleeping positions. So, one of the fundamental things about sleeping is that it's your time that your body allows it to rest and recover and rejuvenate, right? So, we want our bodies ultimately to be relaxed. So, one question I always have is when you lay down, are you actually relaxed fully through your body, or do you still feel some sort of tension? If you do feel some tension, odds are there's somewhere in your body your position is not quite correct, that it can kind of let go and relax. Another piece of information that's important is what to decide if you are a side sleeper or a back sleeper. This is important because this allows you to figure out where your neck position is and how much support you're going to need. If you are a back sleeper, for example, and you like to sleep straight like this, you may only need about 1 inch maybe or 2 inches, because that's only the depth of where your head needs the support here from your spine. Do you see this height here? Whereas if you are a side sleeper, you may need 4 to 5 inches, maybe up to 6 inches of depth and support to keep your neck from going in to the side like this, right? If you curl in like this and you sleep like that, think about this position all through the night. Most of us also sleep about 6 to 8 hours every night. So another thing that's important to figure out is if you're a sleeper that likes to stay in the same position, or if you like to roll around and move. To be honest, moving is probably better than staying idle for too long. The reason that is because imagine you sleeping this way and keeping your head here for 6 to 8 hours. When you wake up in the morning, how comfortable would it be to straighten out your head? Odds are during that 6 to 8 hours, these muscles here start to get short and get used to this position. So when it has to elongate and come back to the middle, that becomes a lot harder. So to counter that, something that you can do is actually get a thicker pillow and more support from your shoulder to your ear, so that you have that depth and support, so that you don't end up side bending through your head all night. If you are a back sleeper, one of the concerns there is that you have enough support under your knees, and this is because the hip flexors. If the hip flexors aren't flexible enough to be straight, then it pulls on the back and arches you, and then therefore the spine, your spine has too much compression while you're sleeping, which is uncomfortable, and then you can wake up with sometimes some sciatic pain or low back pain, and that's not good either. So to counter that, what you would do is to put pillows underneath your knees. But what I find is some people put pillows and they only put maybe one pillow underneath that, which is barely maybe an inch of support. What you really need is to fold and roll that up to probably get about 4 to maybe 6 inches of support underneath your knees. Ideally, you probably want about a 30-degree angle in your knee, like so, about like that, right, of support underneath your knee, so that it takes off the pressure in your back. Without that, then sometimes that becomes very difficult to sleep. Also, in relation to your knees, if you are a side sleeper, again, putting pillows, the depth with which when you're standing, your knees are apart. So that's probably between, again, 4 to 6 inches apart, or depth of pillow space, to keep your knees apart so that they actually stay in line with your hips and your shoulders. If your knees collapse and come together, that causes some stress in your pelvis, and then as a result into your back as well when you're sleeping on your side. So these are some concerns and some ideas and perspectives to think about for sleeping. So ultimately, sleeping position does matter. The things that matter are the spine alignment position, whether or not your body is relaxed, knowing whether you're a side sleeper or a back sleeper, being aware of the position that you fall asleep in, and also be aware of what position you wake up in will help you figure out if you are a back sleeper or side sleeper, if you don't know. And then also to remember that your body does sleep and usually stays in the position for 6 to 8 hours. So if you are finding yourself very stiff, then perhaps that you're not supporting a part of your body enough and you need more support so that it can feel relaxed, or that when you are going to sleep initially, you need to figure out a position that you can actually be fully relaxed in before you fall asleep.